Hello dear friends, it's Angelina and Dima here from Walking Nature World, and in this video we're about to share with you our final thoughts and impressions about the Great Mediterranean Coast Hike that we did, as well as the lessons we learned and useful tips. We'll try to be as detailed and honest as possible, but of course some of the things will still come down to the personal opinion.
We're going to talk about the difficulty of the trail, marking, weather, navigation and camping tips among other things. So if you're ready to start, let's get into it. First, we're going to quickly mention several basic facts about this hiking trail. Overall, its length is around 220 kilometers and it stretches from Argel-sur-Mer, France to Cadaqués, Catalonia, Spain, and then goes along the coast to the town Lloret-de-Mar.
The name of Great Mediterranean Coast Hike we did invent, and you won't find it anywhere else. The trail follows different local marks, including red and white GR. In reality, the Catalonian part follows the GR92 trail that goes all the way to Ulldecona on the western edge of Catalonia. And we did it in two parts, but it can be done perfectly in one go.
Talking about difficulty, we can state that overall the trail is not challenging. It is moderate to easy level. It doesn't have much elevation changes, but there are quite a bit of descents leading to the beaches, as many of them are surrounded by cliffs.
So from time to time, when you walk along the coast through the cliffs, you'll have quite a bit of uphills and downhills. Not major, but some can be full of small rocks and a bit steep. Sometimes you'll be walking on sand, going right through the beach, which to us personally was a nice change of terrain, even though our shoes ended up being full of sand. You will meet such parts often if you choose to walk close to the seashore, as we did, and deviate from the GR92 trail that often goes far from the coast. Most of the trail goes flat, as we already said, and has lots of sunny open parts following Camí de Ronda through the beachfront and some fields, rare mountain hills. Making our own trail and favoring hiking close to the beaches had its own difficulties and wasn't always a success. For example, many times we had to walk on sand for many miles as there weren't any paths going along the beaches.
Also, we can recall one major fail that we had once when we planned to walk through the beach sand, but on the way we had to cross the river.
Having done that before and knowing that most of the rivers are shallow, we were quite confident that we could cross it bare feet. And there we were facing a very wide river that was too deep to our surprise. We could have swum across it, but there was no way to transport our backpacks on the other side. We wish we had some paddleboard around, but we didn't. And so we had to walk many extra kilometers away from the coast to the nearest bridge and then go back. But as the GR92 was going too far from the coast in the fields, most of the time, we still preferred to take a risk.
Distance-wise, we made on average 15 to 17 kilometers a day, as we were filming and stopping a lot, but we think it's possible to hike around 20 kilometers easily, because the trail is mostly flat.
The maximum distance we hiked was 27 kilometers, and it wasn't fun at all. The time when we couldn't cross the river and had to walk through the fields and apple plantations for many kilometers. It depends on you, but we personally would recommend to go slower, to enjoy every part of the trail, and have time to stop and visit the beaches and take a bath. Marking of the trail in parts where we followed the GR92 was overall good. But of course, most of the time when we did our own deviations, we had to use GPS navigation following the Camí de Rondas, which we highly recommend by the way, as they tend to be very scenic.
Talking about the accommodation, campgrounds and hostels are the only way to go. Wild camping is very hard due to populated areas and lack of water sources. And if you need to cook something, it is crucial.
From May to October, the campgrounds are mostly generally open, but starting from October, it can get more difficult with campgrounds. But if you still like to stay in the tent, campgrounds is a nice option, and there are quite a lot of them on the way. We personally mostly stayed in them and just several times in hostels when campings were closed. Some of the campgrounds are more budget and some are more expensive than others. Generally, if you see many stars like 4 or 5, expect it to be quite expensive. Also, if the site has a swimming pool with sport or amusement facilities, it will also add to the price and you will pay the same as for the camper van, as there isn't a category just for a tent.
As we already mentioned, water sources is a rare sight on the way. We don't think we met any, except for the pot water close to the beaches and parks. Almost all rivers and streams we saw on the map didn't exist in real life. In some places there was a humid soil instead of water.
Fortunately, there are a lot of shops and supermarkets where you can buy it as you pass through many villages and towns. Just keep in mind the siesta time from 9:30 to 5 p.m. and Sunday weekend closures. As it can be quite hot, make sure to bring enough water supply with you, at least 2.5 liters. But because of many shops on the way, you may not need to carry the supply for the whole day with you and resupply as you go, but just plan it in advance. And the same applies for food. If you're cooking yourself, you'll take the supplies just for one time and resupply on the way. And you also have many bars and restaurants available if this is where you like to stop at, so you don't have to worry about it at all. As with any hike, you should wear appropriate comfortable clothes and shoes. We always recommend the soft trail running ones. No specific warm clothes if you go in the warm season, but one fleece shirt and raincoat won't be excessive, just in case of some rain and windy days. The poles are also a necessity, especially for those cliff and rocky parts. But you may also need the rubber nips for a lot of pavement walking you will encounter.
We also brought the solar panel with us, but as we didn't wild camp, it wasn't necessary at all, as we could always charge our electronics from a power bank that we plugged in every campground we stayed. Sometimes you need to pay a small amount to leave it charging on reception. The power bank we have is 10,000 and we think it is more than enough.
We did the hike in late September, start of October, and we didn't have days with bad weather. Just several days it was windy, and one day there was a heavy rain when we stayed at the campground to rest. But most of the time it was very warm and sunny, so we can't imagine how extreme the heat can be in the middle of the summer. So doing the hike in late spring in the months of May or June, or early autumn in September-October will be the best decision. Finishing off this video, I want to say that this hike along the Mediterranean coast is very beautiful and scenic, and you can take lots of great shots. And to us, the best part was the coast, of course, with many magnificent cliffs and beaches made of tiny rocks instead of the sand.
It is very recommended to have a swim in the sea during or after a hot day of hiking. It feels amazing and gives you a new burst of energy. The sea is quite warm and nice in September-October month, and in May-June it would be much cooler. But on some warmer days and depending on the year, still can be possible to swim.
To our taste, the area from Tamariu all the way to San Feliu de Quixoles was one of the best, because of the scenic beaches and coastline. Also, our recommendation would be to visit the Greek-Roman ruins of Empúries in the Scala village. We think it is a must because of how well the ruins are conserved and that we unfortunately didn't have a chance to visit. Also, the touristic site Sagaro and many other historical museums on the way you can visit if you wish.
And it was the last thing we wanted to share with you in this video. Hope you found our tips and recommendations helpful, and it will be inspiring to you to do this trail yourself.
As always, leave us any questions or suggestions in the comment section below. We would be happy to help, and also share your thoughts and experiences. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, give it a like, and also subscribe to the channel to join our hiking and backpacking world. We hope you have a nice day or evening, and have a great hiking trip if you're getting ready for it. And that is all for today. We say goodbye and see you very soon, guys. Bye!